Hey guys, welcome to another YouTube video. Today we want to talk about running because in the northern hemisphere, spring has arrived, and spring is usually when a lot of people get more active and decide to start running for the summer body or general fitness when the motivation kicks in. So we want to talk about running because a lot of the gyms are still closed. So we will go through a couple of steps like running and its impact on the body, internal capacity, external capacity, what does it mean and what does it look like. And we also want to go over some equipment, so your running shoes, and is barefoot running better than running with regular running shoes, or which one is basically better or a better choice for you. And at the end we want to give you a small routine, really just a small routine for pre and post running to give your joints some extra love. Okay, so point one is running and its impact on the body. So when we look at running, a lot of people think it's normal for us as humans to run, and it actually is, but because of the sedentary lifestyle, the lifestyle that a lot of us choose to live, or just live without choosing it necessarily consciously, running is actually not as normal or healthy for us as we like to think. So running has a very high, or is considered a very high impact or high impact activity compared to something like bike riding or swimming, because you actually carry 2 to 2.5 times your body weight when you take a stride and land on your foot. So knowing that, and knowing that it's not as normal as or as healthy as we think it is, we want to go into point two. So we need some kind of internal capacity to be able to run safely and also effectively and efficiently. So point one is that it has a huge impact on our body, and point two is that we need that internal capacity to run effectively and maybe mitigate that impact that it has on the body. So when we have point two, which is the internal capacity, we want to look at the joints and what each joint should be able to do so that you're not feeling pain and you're actually running better. So the joints involved, the major joints involved, are your knees, your ankles, your feet, so your toes for example, your hips, and your spine. So you want to make sure that all of these joints have decent joint function so that you can run without feeling pain, without feeling some kind of discomfort, and actually feel comfortable running even if you start running 3 times a week. So before you go into running, make sure that you have that internal capacity, because then on that internal capacity you can build your external capacity.
Okay guys, point 3 we want to discuss or talk about now is external capacity. So Leslie's mentioned the impact on the body and that you have to have internal strength of the joints and the capacity and the prerequisites for specifically needed for the task jogging or running. Now when you build that up, then you can externally load these joints to get even stronger, right? So when you have the prerequisites needed for jogging, we then can start to load certain positions, start implement certain strength exercises that really helps you to get stronger in running, right? Or as well as running itself. So when you're ready and have the prerequisites and strong joints, then you can start running slowly. But again, think about of not doing too much in the beginning. As Leslie also mentioned in the beginning, don't start to just from 3 or 4 months of break during the winter, don't start right away with 5 times 1 hour sessions in the week. Start building up slowly. It's the same as in each strength or mobility exercise. You have to deal with that progressive overload. If you start to do these 5 or 6 sessions during the week, that's too much load and too much intensity for your body, and this also might lead to pain, injuries, or discomfort in your joints, even though you might have the internal capacities. Okay, so remember that as well. So structure your jogging habit or your jogging routine according accordingly to your activity level before that, okay? So maybe start with 2 times a week for 30 or 40 minute sessions, and then build that up slowly to 5 or 6 times a week if that's one of your goals, for example, okay? So number 4, and also one of the most important parts, is what kind of shoe wear is the best for jogging? We see a lot of these barefoot movements with barefoot shoes. We also see a lot of normal jogging shoes out there. And the question really is, what is the best for your joints and for you? What we highly can advise you is to not wear barefoot shoes straight away. So if you're thinking, oh, this barefoot community, these barefoot guys are so great, and it just makes so much sense, right, to walk more bare feet and to walk with such more natural gait and to just use barefoot shoes right away. But this is a recipe for failure, right, and for injuries, because you have to think about your body and your foot and your ankle is not used to getting even more load onto the joints than it's used to, right? You used to run maybe in normal shoes, and then you switch straight away to barefoot shoes. That's not gonna work. This is too much impact for your joints, and you might get discomfort, pain, or even injuries from that. So if you decide to run with barefoot shoes, choose functional footwear. For example, a nice company is Joe Nimble. We can show you one picture of a nice running shoe that's functional for your feet and for your toes. So you have a big toe box, so your foot can function properly, but it still has a flat cushion to support your foot, so it's not as huge of an impact as with just flat barefoot shoes, okay? So that's number 1. If you decide, okay, barefoot shoes are just not good for me because I have some foot injuries or ankle or knee pain already, and you slowly want to build up, then of course normal jogging shoes are okay if you still keep on working on your internal capacity, build up stronger joints and healthier joints, and then slowly switch to these functional footwears. Barefoot shoes or bare feet jogging in general is really not recommended. It's just, especially on concrete, it's just too much of an impact of our body and not natural. If you have a soft grass underground or a soft wooden forest ground jogging loop, then maybe it's okay, but also not for hours and hours and hours, okay? So if it's only 30 minutes of a light jog, aerobic training on a soft ground, then it's okay, and it's not a huge impact of a body. But please be wise and careful here, because runners' knee pain, ankle pain is really not easy to deal with. It takes time to recover from that, to rehab from that. So better be smart and start to choose your training equipment, in this case the shoes, wisely, guys. So guys, with that being said, we're gonna show you a pre and post running routine you can easily do before or after you went for a jog. So guys, the first exercise we're gonna show you on this small pre and post running routine are some capsular cars. Cars are just the best exercise, which translate to any movement or any exercise or sport you want to do, right? So capsular cars, a little bit different than compared to normal cars. You can also do full cars, which are also fine. We're gonna show you capsular cars now, okay? So for capsular cars, we focus on one leg first, and try to maintain a 90-degree angle hip flexion here. You can also press your hand a little bit against it, and then from here, from a neutral point, we try to go in external rotation. Try not to flare your knee out or inwards when you go into internal rotation. So first external rotation, fight for max external rotation here, hold it for 2 to 3 seconds, and then try to go into internal rotation. Again, 2 to 3 second hold, external rotation. 2 to 3 second hold, and internal rotation. Try to do that as well on the left side. And We recommend you to just do 2 sets of 5 repetitions just to get warmed up, to warm up your internal and external rotation. Or instead of these capsule cars, you can just do normal hip cars, which are also great. So next up, we have the knee kinetic stretch. So knee rotation is very important when it comes to running or our gait in general. So we have this knee kinetic stretch. Okay, so we first want to determine our external and internal rotation. So we're going to hold our knee in place so it's not dropping into hip internal rotation, and then we try to feel and find internal rotation of the tibia. So you should feel that bony structure moving into internal rotation and external rotation. So you should feel again the rotation here. If you're not sure if you engaged external rotation, you see your hamstring tendon here as a main external rotator working. Okay, so from here, if you found that, we're gonna go onto a slippery surface here, or you can also use a slider. And with initiating internal rotation, we're going to hold that internal rotation, drive forward until we reach almost max flexion. And then we try to externally rotate the knee and drive it back, holding and trying to fight for more external rotation as I pull my heel back in full knee flexion. Then with external rotation, I drive that forward, finding that internal rotation. Make sure your knee is not dropping in, so hip internal rotation is not getting involved. And with internal rotation, I pull it back. Apply a little bit more pressure on the heel than I do now, because the mat is not as slippery as supposed to. But with more pressure over your heel, you really feel much more muscle engagement around that knee joint. So we also recommend you to do 2 sets, 1 or 2 sets of 5 kinetic stretches on one side. Then you're good to go. Okay, next up, again, cars, ankle cars. It's just the best way to prepare or upload the information after your training, to prepare for a workout or for a training, or to upload the information after training. So get in this RNC grip. So right arm under the right knee, left free hand on your tibia. For ankle cars, your tibia should not move, okay? So therefore the hand is here. So try to go in full rotation of your ankle without moving the tibia. 3 to 4 reps clockwise and 3 to 4 reps counterclockwise. Max out your range of motion here and then switch to the other side. The last exercise I want to show you is more specific for the gait and for toe dorsiflexion here. And we're going to go in a lunge position for this one. And you can hold on to your to the wall or to a table or chair, for example. And then we try to go off our heel and over our big toe to initiate plantar flexion and big toe dorsiflexion, as we would when we were jogging or running. Okay, this strengthens our soleus muscle and our calf and our gastroc, and strengthens our foot to be prepared for running. So we can do 6 to 8 reps here on the right side, 6 to 8 on the left side, and you're good to go for a run. Last but not least, let's not forget the spine, just to warm up the spine and to warm up each vertebrae. We're gonna do a spinal segmentation as a Jefferson curl, just standing Jefferson curl without any weight. And for that, we first start with the chin on our chest, with our cervical spine, and roll down the spine until we reach our lumbar spine. When we're down, we're again starting with the cervical spine going into extension, then thoracic spine, and slowly get back up to normal. Do that for 3 to 4 reps just to feel good, especially if you're sit a lot throughout the day and you just try to go for a jog right after a long working day. Definitely do and warm up your spine. So here, start with a chin on your chest. Really push out that thoracic spine. As you reach the bottom position, slowly extend the cervical spine, then the thoracic spine, teal junction, lumbar spine, and go for a second, third, and fourth rep. So guys, hope you liked this video about running. Why is it so important to build up internal capacity, then external capacity? Why shoes are so important, and that running is just not natural. It comes not natural to you because running has also some prerequisites you should hit and you should have in order to run safely without discomfort and without getting injured. So guys, leave a like or subscribe to our channel, and see you guys in the next one.